I said that before I did. Hello, this is so chaotic. I don't even know. Hello, welcome to the Pyramid Book Club discussion. I almost said sprints.
I know, I felt like
it was. Okay, hello everybody. We're having a time already, so welcome to the discussion for Ascension. Also, I was told that a lot of people don't know why we're called the Pyramid Book Club, so I figured I would discuss that very quickly because it's important.
Yeah.
So our names. So we have Michelle, Lexi, and Monica. Our first initials, MLM, which is a pyramid scheme.
I think that's more ridiculous.
So that's why we're the Pyramid Book Club.
That's why in a lot of my thumbnails I put like me, then you in the middle. You're always in the middle.
I know. I always put myself in the middle too. So that is that.
Remember our conversations over trying to come up with a name?
I know. I was like, well, here's this thing that's extremely dumb but hilarious. So if you think of anything better,
as soon as you said it, I remember where I was. I was looking at my phone and we were all playing outside in my backyard and I started cracking up. And Cassidy was like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "We're the Pyramid Book Club." And
I was also outside. I was on my hammock.
Nice.
Monica, where were you?
Stay outside.
I might have been outside. I don't remember. I don't think I was. I think I was sitting inside with Kobu.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's our name. I just thought I would bring that up. We should talk about that more often because it's funny. Cassidy didn't know. She's like, you should tell people more often. And I'm like, I guess so. Because like, I don't know, our channels have grown a lot since we started the book club.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And there was like very few people who came in the beginning and they like knew us.
Yeah.
Our discussions had 5 people.
Yes. Okay, well, enough about us. Amy is joining us for the month. It has been a great time. So thank you again for joining us and for somewhat picking this. I don't know when I would have read it if it was not for this. So, yes, Katie says hi. Okay, I guess I will click on your comments real quick. Hello, everybody. Glad to have you all here. This made me laugh.
We were talking about you guys talking to each other.
You even read the book.
Wow.
Hello. Yeah, so I love our name personally. I think it's very funny and like I'm very proud of myself. Okay, so we are going to Sav has so many banners.
I'm like, what?
Do you remember that time I put up spoiler section for not the non-spoiler section and nobody said anything?
Do you still have absolutely not up there?
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
We can have both.
Absolutely not spoiling.
Oh gosh. Oh, Sav has all these banners. Fun. Okay. Where's the correct one? This one. Oh, I cried a lot today. I'm feeling very chaotic. I cried because of a book. I'm okay. Just to clarify. It was a cat book, so you know. Anyway, Ascension is a lot of things, but I would say mostly sci-fi. It also, the back says it's a mystery. I've seen some horror, some thriller. So there's a little. I don't know how to talk about this book. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this. They're trying to climb a mountain.
Ascension is a book. Ascension is a book. 16.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's about it.
What do you say about this book? So, I mean, I feel like everyone here at least knows a little bit about it. If not, sucks to suck. I'm just kidding.
The mountain appears in the middle of nowhere, and it's a mystery of what it is and why it's there.
A bunch of scientists go there to figure out what it is. That's all.
Well, we are a very professional book club here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, I took so many notes, like page upon page upon page, because I didn't have a physical copy, and I was so scared that I was going to forget something. So I was like, I got to write everything down. But now I can't find like anything good worth saying. I'm like, I don't need to talk about that. I don't need to talk about that.
It looks like you journaled about your time on a mysterious mountain.
I felt like I was.
Altitude sickness, yeah. So you for sure took all of the notes for all of us, because I didn't take notes, and I would bet the other two did not.
I always get so scared. Like, I'm going to show up somewhere, and they're going to be like, okay, what about this? And I'm going to be like, oh, I don't know.
That's usually me. That is usually me. Even when I'm in charge sometimes, I'm like, oh, I don't remember that. So... You know, it's fine. Okay, so let's do star ratings. As usual, we will start with Monica.
I knew that was coming. 3.5. Starting strong.
Yes. I know what Michelle did, but so why don't you tell us?
I had to DNF this 41% in because I fell asleep listening to it twice. And I was like, I gotta go. I'm like, what? We were on and I fell asleep on the couch, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. I'm probably tired.
If you fall asleep during that, you miss like a full 2 pages because of how fast he goes.
Oh yeah.
So then I will say I was tired yesterday because I went to a book festival, but like I fell asleep twice. So my review is normally I would power through a book club pick, but I love myself too much for that. Heart hands.
It's funny because you read all of A Black and Endless Sky.
Yeah, but I think it's just because I was listening to that. Was I really? I don't think I was.
Yeah, it happens. Amy, what did you think of this one?
I gave it 4.
Okay. I also gave it 4. So pretty good, minus Michelle.
Yeah.
4.5. Oh, wait, some dudes. Give it 4.5 and loved it. Yeah, I thought there were some very interesting things. There was one point where I laughed out loud at like a thing that they realized, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It was very funny. Couldn't finish reading it either. Yeah, this is a very science heavy book. We'll talk about it more later. Thank you. 4.5, but I can't explain why. Yeah, this is one that like I was really into it for some reason. Like there was no point where I was bored, even though there was a lot of like science stuff. And I think sci-fi works for me a lot because I like seeing people learn about new things. And they were learning about new things in this one. Yes, it's a very mind-bendy book, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting with Michelle having DNF'd this, because we're going to have to try to explain what happened.
Please don't. I truly don't care.
Yeah, like science-heavy books don't often work for me, but I think just because of the nature of the topics in this one, because they were so mind-bendy and cosmic and, you know, spacey stuff, I liked that topic, so I didn't mind the science-iness of it. But typically, with this much science, it wouldn't be something that I would usually enjoy.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the like other stuff made it like that. I wanted to figure out what that was. Didn't read it yet. Honestly, not sure if I will like it, if it's science-y. Yeah, it didn't feel overwhelming to me, but I can see how it would to other people. I know I was saying that I was going to read it all today, and like everybody was like, don't do that. So
Yeah.
I could have, but also I did slow down the audiobook. I still could have finished it today because I read almost all of it yesterday, but yeah, the audiobook narrator. Should we talk about him?
Oh my god.
He was good, but oh my god.
Why is he so fast? Like, I just read Katrina Ward's newest book, and I felt like that was 3 times speed, and it was so slow. And this guy, like, he talks faster than me, and I talk really fucking fast. No,
I wonder sometimes if like they naturally slow it down so that people have to speed it up or change it. I don't know that they did for this one. If that's something that people normally do, because yeah, he was super speed talking.
I feel like they forgot to slow it down, and they were in
with all of the accents on top of it. I was like, wait. Like, I'm already struggling. You're making it harder.
It was crazy.
Jumping from like British to Australian to Russian and back to like English, like American. It's just everything was.
Yeah.
But that is talent though, because like I felt like the accents were really good though.
Yeah, I agree. Had so many thoughts. I don't know if I can vocalize them, but it gave me thoughts. I agree. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say about this book, but
yeah,
we'll figure it out. Told you not to read it all today, then realized that I listened to it all in one day. Yeah, I read like 75% of it yesterday, and then I switched to a different book. So I could have finished it yesterday, but yeah. I usually give up on sci-fi if I'm not understanding it, but I felt like I kind of understood this one. Yeah, I think that it was
back to English. My brain. I was thinking.
I didn't even realize that. Like, what does that mean?
I know. I was thinking like England, like the man was from England.
I know, but it
was. And then I just look. I was willing to move past it without bringing attention to it.
I bet you were.
No one else was.
I didn't even know.
I noticed, and I just pretended.
It's so funny. I think this one wasn't like, it was science-y, but like you didn't have to understand every single thing that they were saying to like understand what was happening. And then I think also the addition of like, you know, that you don't know everything and they don't know everything, that made it a little bit easier as well too. The accents. Why was the Australian dude talking like the Micro Machines commercial dude? What is that?
I know he talks really fast, so maybe that's it.
This guy narrated another book. I read The Collarbound Fantasy, and he's definitely my favorite. Yeah, I thought he was like, I think he did well, but it was very fast.
I thought he did really well, especially towards the end. I think that Jet's character, like his voice at the end, ended up being like really good for what it was supposed to be. Like, I don't know, because it's kind of, I think he changed the way he like talked a little bit, and I think that like every time Jet talked in the second half of the book, I was like, ah. Like it was just like weird, and I liked it.
I'm over here like, who was Jet?
I didn't make it that
was one of the scientist guys
that was the one in the cave.
Yeah, he ends up getting
okay, got it. Okay, I was like, I know he's on the mountain with them, but which one? Yes, okay.
When he got creepy, his voice changed, and I was like, oh, it sounds creepy.
I'm so old. The guy that used to do commercials for the toy Micro Machines was the world's fastest talker. Yeah, I don't watch TV.
He used to do commercials back in the day where, like, you know how like auctioneer people talk really fast?
Oh yeah. Okay. Is there anything else we need to talk about that is non-spoilers?
I don't know.
He didn't really bother me as much in this, but I can't stand the blah 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 super fast with long pauses afterwards. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, I guess we can.
One thing with that I don't think is too spoilery, but like the way it was written as letters.
Oh yeah. I
like
thought I liked that a lot.
Yeah. I liked it. My only problem with it is like the letters were so. I was like, it sounds like he's writing it while he's walking up a like they're walking and he's like so detailed, like, oh, I tripped over this and I'm like, you're writing this as a letter. I don't think you'd have that good of memory of like exactly.
I did not like the letters.
You didn't like it.
That
I
was,
liked
one
the
of my
format.
biggest-
It just felt like they were too long to be
Yeah.
letters.
Yeah, I did not like the letters at all because I was like, there's I thought that they were boring. Like if someone had sent me this letter, I would throw it away. Like shut the fuck up. Thank you.
Well, with that though, like he wasn't ever really intending to send it to her.
Yeah, he
Like
did say in the
was.
Yeah, he said in the beginning, like he started out like instead of writing journal entries because he wouldn't be so forthcoming in journal entries, like somehow that made it easier for him to like tell a story, writing it to someone else, even if he wasn't actually intending on sending them. Although he did send some, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what Katie said. Like I liked that they were letters, but as I was reading, I was like, you know what? This is a really long letter and there's a lot of detail. Like, because you wouldn't, especially things like happening at night, like you can't write at night in the, well, like, what was it when we read episode 13? And I was like, how are they journaling in the dark?
Yeah.
How are they doing that?
In the fucking
Also, I also thought it was weird that like how secretive everybody was, but it was totally fine for him to just be sitting there writing letters that I would assume people would think, hey, he's writing a letter or a journal, like he shouldn't be documenting the things that are happening here because they were so secure about what everything was going on.
How did they get mailed?
I think it was brought up at the beginning that he said that he was writing them as he didn't tell anyone it was letters. He told them it was a journal to be like a scientific journal for people to look back on when they were done if they wanted that. But still, they were very unrealistic.
Yeah.
With like what it was, but is it it's always interesting to see what these people look like. This is his first book in the United States. What does that mean?
I read that as well because I was like, this is a white man.
I think I saw that this was already like translated to another language. So I think it was already out somewhere else. And then like maybe it just.
What's this dude? Let me look up his other books on.
The only one available on Scribd was like the Spanish version.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And that's kind of weird.
Interesting.
So, okay, he has another book called Professor Everywhere that came out in 2020, and that's obviously not published here. It's by Perverse Hong Kong. So, is he big over there? I do not know, but
I don't know. He's from the UK.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, isn't he English though? Maybe
he was
living over there. And
his Goodreads thing says Binge has lived in Singapore, Switzerland, and Hong Kong, and is based in Edinburgh, UK. So,
interesting.
I had to know. So obviously that one hasn't been published here. Honestly, I'm gonna show you the cover because I kind of like it. It's just I kind of like that.
It's interesting that it's not available.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the unrealistic part. But I think at first he was like just trying to document everything that was happening. But yeah, it was not perfect. I think it was interesting too that it was turned into like this book because we're getting like editors
Yeah.
Whatever, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you like Ascension but want it more evenly sci-fi mystery horror, you would like Briar Dark. Super similar but in the woods. Interesting. It was his niece that he was close to. And I think after everything else that happened, like it was the only person that he really felt like he could talk to. His other book is apparently about linguistics.
Nicholas Binge, the author, gave it 5 stars and then said this is shallow in his review.
Interesting.
I feel like a lot of authors will rate their.
I love that. I was like, wait,
very funny.
This is shallow.
Why is this coming up? It's funny.
Hi, Erin. Did you read the book? What did you rate it if you did? Okay, so I think we can move into spoilers, but before we do that, just a reminder that we are taking the month of October off because of Halloween weekend. And then we will be on Monica's channel in November to read Midnight is the Darkest Hour. And then December is Christmas Presents by Lisa Unger on Michelle's channel. So that's the rest of the year. I think that's all. Amy, do you want to talk about your book club at all real quick?
Sure. I have a book club called Dark Hearts Book Club. It's a dark fiction horror book club. Our book for September is The Exorcist House, and we're meeting for that on October 8th with Kitty from Spicy Cats and Christine from Secrets Read. And then for October, we are having a book called, or a book that month, and it's Edenville by Sam Rebeline, something like that.
Amy's linked in the description, and she has announcement videos. Well, an announcement video on her channel for that as well. Yeah. 3 stars. Pretty decent. We had a 3, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. That's pretty decent. Okay. We are going to talk about spoilers. I don't know how to go about this.
What did you guys think of the like, I don't want to say, well, kind of a romance, the romance or familial thing in it with Shanti and the Nuoko and
Okay, so this is where I kept falling asleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and normally I like romance. Like, that kind of stuff, but I could not give myself to care about this because I only wanted to care about the mountain. And we kept going back and talking about this stuff, and I was like, my dude, I am so sorry, but I am here for the mountain. Okay? And then so anytime that would come up, I would fall asleep. And that I did that twice.
So you don't know what his big secret was?
And I truly don't care.
Well, his son died, and it was his fault.
He blames himself for it.
Yeah. He drowned, and then he immediately ran away from his wife.
He just left her?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
he was so ashamed.
He's like, this is my fault. Yeah, and then he ran away.
Yeah, men are great.
Literally fled the country, moved to another country, started a new job, ran.
Yeah, I agree with this.
Mhm.
I thought it was okay, but I didn't really need there to be any sort of romance to be interested in the story. Sure. I do agree that the father-son stuff was more interesting, but I also didn't need that there. Did you really like it, Amy? Is that why you asked?
I was just curious what you guys thought. I did quite like it. I too feel like I could have done without it, but it did wrap up really nicely by the end. It played an important role in Harold, even wanting to get to the top of the mountain, that relationship, his family, not only with his son, but with his wife, that whole thing propelled him forward and carries all the way to the end of the book. So I think it was important to the story. I don't know how it would have been different if that totally would have been gone from the story. I don't know how he would have progressed it like he did.
Yeah, I think maybe my issue is that it was a little too long, like those parts.
Too many flashbacks.
Yes.
That didn't give you the answer. Like, it was like too drawn out of a backstory that I didn't need.
Yeah.
And then
and
like,
I think we all
what happened, it was fine.
Yeah.
But like it took too long to get there.
Yeah. And I know for me, like I knew that like Santi wasn't around anymore, so he died somehow.
Yeah.
And obviously the dad was having like issues about it, so he felt partly responsible. So even though I didn't know exactly what happened, we still already kind of knew.
Yeah.
So for it to go that long into the book without giving us what actually happened, like, we could have done that sooner.
Because when he finds out that she had been there and he's like, oh, I haven't seen her in 20 years. She's my ex-wife. And I was like, what? But then like it just kept going. And I was like, I just want to know about the and that's saying a lot for me because like my main form of reading is romance and like familial stuff. And like it just did not work for me in this one.
Do you want to know what was behind everything?
Yes, I would love to. Thanks.
Aliens.
I am an alien.
That's when I laughed. Whenever.
Oh, the Neil backwards thing.
So you remember?
Neil. I don't even know what to say.
Do you remember who Neil is, or that there's a character named Neil?
Yes.
Okay, so
that's one part. The whole point is that you're supposed to not remember.
Neil's an alien, and Harry figures it out because he's like, wait, what was his last name? And he's like, or whoever he was talking to was like, it's Ami, and he's like, it's spelled A-M-I, and he's like, oh, spell that backwards. It's I am alien.
You're joking.
I'm down for aliens.
Why are men? Why is every time we read a book by a man, why is it like this?
It was very funny. Listen, the fact that it was aliens was like, that was fine. Like I didn't have any like issues with that, but it was the way that he's like, I am alien.
And if we pick another book by a dude, I'm just gonna not show up. Okay.
I had an issue mostly with the end and like having the last, like the two, like they get to the, we're doing spoilers, right?
Yeah, we're spoilers. Go for it.
Yeah, the end, how like the people to actually get to the top of the mountain is Harold and Batten. And like Batten is the epitome of humanity, like this like aggro Australian dude. Like, he's the best of the best. Like what?
Yeah.
So
pretty much this is a test from the aliens to know when they can like level up humanity, because they control humans and give them their like intelligence and things like that. So
they've been developing like the next level, like the seed of.
Well, you're all laughing, but you all gave it a high rating. Can we just
fun time? I had a fun time, and I had a fun time listening to the like and thinking about everything that they were talking. It was just the last like 5-10% that I was like. But the rest of it, I still had fun. Like I had a good time.
Yeah. Yes. The aliens were like experimenting, like, and I'm laughing at you. Anyway.
I would rather have been just Harry, Katie.
I don't know what I was saying.
Sorry.
basically the whole book is about them trying to like get to the summit, like get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And they eventually, only 2 of them get there, and then Neil is there. Alien Neil is there waiting, and it's like, congratulations, you 2 are the supreme, and one of you gets to become the all-intelligent next level human. And the Australian guy's like, ooh, pick me, I'll do it. And then,
But I mean, he did volunteer, because then he like immediately kills himself to like stop the alien situation, because they only have one thing.
But Neil also says, like, this is the only gem that we have. Like, he gives them a gem. There's only one. It took millennia to create this gem. There's only just the one, and whoever gets it is supposed to not be able to resist it. Like, he literally says, like, once the transformation happens, you can't say no. But he literally does that thing. He transforms and then he shoots his head off.
He is so strong.
Like, what?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I have a question. So, like, okay, so Harry makes it to the summit, and there's aliens. And how does he get to the funeral home? Because he's been like missing for 30 years in the beginning. So, like,
because whenever the guy dies.
This sounds so bizarre without like actually reading the steps, just explaining the end. That's
why I'm making you do it.
The mountain disappears.
Okay.
And he falls from the sky and wakes up and was like, oh, I'm in England.
I'm literally imagining like the cartoon image in my mind of like literally a man on a mountaintop, and the mountain disappears and he just like falls helplessly to the
I love making you explain this to me. You're like,
It was a fun time. It was like, I wasn't expecting it to be any sort of like serious situation.
I'm crying.
But it's just like really funny whenever, like, without any other details, you're like,
what was this?
I mean, by the time you get to the end, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But you up to there's a lot of weird stuff that happens along the way.
Okay.
There's all these portals and like dimensions and like time situations going on. So there's like
the Leviathans and
the aliens also made those.
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah.
They were the like failed experiment.
Yeah. Okay, let me get to some of these comments.
So thanks.
Connected with Harry right away. Didn't realize how important his relationship would be at the end. I had to rewind when they said the son died because I realized I had no clue how that was happening. Love that part when he's developing his relationship with Santi. Yeah, I like that. I still think it was a little too long.
Yeah.
I did think they might do that with the name Neil because they did that in Lost.
Lost. That's all I was thinking when you said that was Lost.
Yeah.
Love Lost. Ugh.
You know, I am assuming that it means that the humans aren't going to develop any further than they are now.
See, when I read it, I like kind of imagined it. What was that? Sorry. I think my computer glitched. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying, I don't even know what I was saying. I don't even know. I don't know. Go ahead.
When I read it, I kind of took it as like when he assumed that like seed thing and became like the all-knowing kind of thing, that it wasn't necessarily him trying to end everything. It was like that he couldn't fathom that amount of like intelligence. Like I kind of took it as like a failed experiment of like it overtook it, like it was too much for him. Not that he like was strong enough to like override that and still like defeat the aliens, but it was more of like he couldn't. I don't know. I kind of the movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson, where she like she takes like medicine or injections that lets her use 100% of her brain power, and by the end of it, it literally destroys her because like the body is not like able to do that. That's kind of how I imagined it playing out with him, where like he became so like developed that it just the body can't withstand that. And it
Wouldn't
like,
he have been ready though if like he made it to the top of the mountain and he was one of the chosen great last two?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a pretty ridiculous test if you ask me, but
I know.
like you won Survivor.
I took it as humanity is like, if we are going to level up, it's going to be another few millennia because it took them that long to make that one gem. It's going to take them another few millennia to make another one. So we'll get another chance then, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he was found near the water where his son drowned. Feel
They
like
kind of
that
just glossed
sometimes
over that though.
What, Monica?
I said they kind of glossed over that. Like they just mentioned it like in passing of like, yep, he was found by the water where his son died. Moving on.
Yeah, I think it's because he was found by like random people, and he wasn't like the mountain wasn't over that area, so I think it was just like alien magic, and they're like, that's where he was.
So do you think that like that? Obviously, it's fiction, but do you think like it actually happened, or like because I know the end, like the end, they're like we tried to find all the people, and some of them never existed, and no records. Do you think like and he wasn't in an asylum for 20 plus years?
Oh, did he just up the letters?
Oh, he could have.
That was part of it mentioned, like the editor's notes being like, these are not weathered the way that we thought they would have been. Like some of them look newer than others, and it didn't make sense.
Yeah,
I kind of like that idea. Just
I like that theory.
That I didn't like. I'm like, I like that idea. That it's
I'm on top of that one. I like that one.
Yeah, because he like the afterword at the end obviously says that like certain characters or people like did exist and that he did have that family, but then two of the people I think were not, like they couldn't find an existence of them anywhere, so like he could have made them up.
I really like that theory. I think that's
also Sherry, yes, I would love to know,
please.
Oh yeah, I want to know.
I also occasionally feel too smart for this one. At the end when his brother is writing the afterward, he said that a therapist speculated. Oh,
yes.
I mean, technically, it could have been.
Yeah.
Like, there's no proof of anything.
Yeah.
Hello. I thought the afterward was like about actual people for a second until realizing it was still the story. You thought it was like the author, like thanking this person for.
Correct.
I would just like to bring this up again.
God.
Oh my God. It was all a dream.
Yeah.
I think it didn't feel like a cop out, like saying it was all a dream, though.
But like, if he was was it a mental institution or a retirement home? I can't remember. It was a mental,
kind of both.
Yeah, it was both, right?
It was more. Yeah, it was like recovery, but because they didn't have an identity, like they couldn't figure out who he was.
Yeah,
so it was like a combination, like a hospital, but also they didn't know who he was.
I kind of like that theory then. If he was just having like a mental break and was like, let me write these letters about aliens.
If they actually said the whole thing was a hallucination, then it would have been a favorite of the year for me. The whole mountain thing was so unhinged. I mean, I think that the point is that you don't know.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good ending because then you get to decide which way you want to think about it. So even though I didn't finish this book, Mine is that he just had like a mental break and wrote about aliens and
I feel like we should just tell you a place to like pick up the book again, and then just so you can experience the end.
Definitely in the middle of the fold traveling.
Normally I can make it to 50% because then I get to mark the book down as read and I didn't do that. I was just like, this is a DNF, dudes. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the ending was unhinged and very interesting.
Yeah. I do like that theory though. It was just all made like he just made it up.
I think the 5-star ending was that they thought he was crazy. He disappears one day and the mountain reappears somewhere more public and everyone realizes he wasn't crazy. Well, that could be a thing, like Amy was saying, where it was like in a millennia, then it would happen again. And then there would be like that one like conspiracy theorist that knows about this thing that happened in the past and brings it up.
The sequel.
The whole thing with his son dying almost had me in tears. Yeah, it was a lot, especially because if he wouldn't have like decided that he knew best, then his son probably would not have died. Because it was like the issue that had happened like could have been pretty much fixed on the ambulance that was like 2 minutes away, but he decided to drive him to the hospital because he was a doctor.
Yeah.
So I agree. I like it more open-ended. That's generally how I feel about these kinds of books anyway.
Yeah.
So
especially with the like so weird and stuff. I like open-ended.
Yeah,
stuff.
I like open-ended a lot.
Hello.
Hello.
You missed all the
alien
talk.
Aliens.
We laughed so much.
Yeah.
Just remembering how we all
I was
tried to explain
laughing at
this
you
to Michelle.
all laughing, explaining it to me.
Well, I was sitting on the couch with Adam. He was watching TV and I was listening to the audiobook, and I just laughed out loud whenever it was like, I am alien. And he's like, what? And I'm like, the book. He kind of gave me a look. I was like, love Santi for real. He was such a sweet, gentle soul. Yeah.
Cute.
Gonna have to reverse for them. It's funny because Michelle DNF'd it, so we've been trying to explain this very unhinged book to her.
It's been time.
So
It's a journey.
he wanted that picture to prove that Santi was doing just as well as that guy's kid. I can't remember that guy's name.
Oh yeah, Paul. Was that Paul? The other doctor?
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know if I remember that.
I didn't make it this far.
It was like the other doctor, the one he lied to when he was like, oh, how's your kid doing? And he's like, oh, he's doing great. My kid is a superstar.
Yeah.
Like super smart and super cool. And then that was the doctor that ended up like working on
At the
it.
very end, yeah.
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 That would have been amazing.
I can't.
You know what? Mr. Worldwide would have made it to the top of that mountain.
I was
Just
just
to be real.
Oh, I have a question. So there was a point where I think they're on like the second camp or whatever. Oh,
Maybe
God.
he is. What is Pitbull spelled backwards?
Pitbull spelled.
Oh gosh. Anyway. Oh god. What was I saying? It was actually about the book. Harry went to his car for the camera, and that's when Santi drowned. Yeah. Because he was having issues at school, like not wanting to, like he was like refusing to do swim class. So he takes him to the lake to teach him how to swim. And then he goes to get the camera to take a picture and turns around. He's face down in the water, not moving. Yeah.
That sounds like an alien name to me.
Well, you both did it.
Oh gosh.
You're telling us about something in camp 2. That's all I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't remember what camp it was actually on, but it was like the point where they were like, okay, this guy needs to go back. Does anyone want to leave? Would you have continued? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, when the
Whenever the one guy like got injured or something, his leg.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Was it Thomas? Maybe not.
Or was it Jet?
Oh.
It was for sure Jet.
It was Jet because then he disappeared.
Yeah. I just remembered a whole bunch of other things that happened in this book. Anyway, they were like, oh, his leg, like he can't continue, so we're gonna take him down and you can like be done if you don't want to be part of this anymore. It was for sure Jet because I remember like it was because of his leg, and then they talked about his plans in the cave. That was a weird sentence. I would be like, it is too cold, I'm leaving.
I don't know how many times in the first 41% he was like, my feet are so cold. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. I get it.
But I would also be about how cold I was the entire time.
Me too. But like, how many times do you have to tell me?
I wouldn't even have done it in the first place. Like,
no, for sure.
I don't think I would have made it past camp 1. I would have been like, you know what? I'm not cut out for this.
I'm not in any good like physical.
Well,
I can't do it.
they didn't really have a choice at the very beginning.
No,
Like,
I mean they like kidnapped him.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I guess if I was like, I don't know, super invested science-wise or something, maybe I would stay. But like who I am now, no, peace out, bye.
I think that no matter how invested I was, the more important thing is I don't want to be that cold ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to think I'd be adventurous enough, but I am a coward, and I don't think I would have wanted to keep going.
Even if you had the same like intentions that Harold had, like he was there because his wife was there. So would you, like if your partner was there and you're just now reconnecting with them after 20 years, like
No.
no?
Gonna be honest, I don't think he would have been on that mountain either. So
I think also at that point the mountain, the aliens, whatever, were like calling them to the top.
Yeah.
But that's 2 segments. Guess I got confused because his leg healed. Yeah, I just remember for some reason I remember like him being like, oh, there's this like goo on his leg, but it's healed, but his pants are ripped. So how is he not cold? Because I'm like, yeah, I'd be cold. So I don't know. There were some times where I was a little confused about who was who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always get confused with that many characters. I definitely think if I would have read this just with my eyes, like without having all of the accents to help me differentiate between the people, I wouldn't be able to tell most of like the side characters. I wouldn't know who they were talking about.
I completely agree with that. I think the audiobook helped me with that as well.
Yeah, I agree. And even though like I think he was extremely fast, like at least he had different accents.
Yeah. They barely had enough supplies to make it up, and they were like, well, it's a later problem that we don't have supplies to get back down. I think also at that point they were all like, we're not going back down. I mean, if someone asked me to hike a mountain higher than any other mountain I've been like,
it's like, do you know who you're talking to? Like,
how many other mountains have I hiked? None. So what makes you think I can make it up this one?
Oh no. Sorry, your Wi-Fi is not great. I was one of the people that voted for this because I'm like, I own it, so I want to read it.
I'm gonna
it was a good one to talk about and read, and
I'm kind of glad Michelle DNF'd it because I feel like
it's so been fun.
It was really so funny because you had to be like, well, they're aliens, and this is how we find out, and it's embarrassing.
It was done a little better than how I portrayed it.
No, that's how it's gonna be forever in my mind.
I mean, the meal part was not done. They literally was like, what was his last name.
I just love the fact that they were like, Neil. Yeah, I haven't heard him talk in like 3 days. Like,
yeah, well, it was
even
like
with us?
it was just like alien magic once again that he was doing, where like the point was that you only remembered him when he was like doing things for you to remember. Like he wasn't
When he was
he
trying to
wasn't
get them, like, up
there.
the mountain or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it was a good concept. Like, I was really interested in this book. I just think maybe the execution wasn't my favorite.
Yeah. I really think you should just like read the end.
I will read the last like 50 pages.
It's
You're gonna be
it like
so
I mean, it's not boring at the
Yeah.
end.
Right.
I was never bored though. Like there was no point where I was considering rating it below 4 stars. I was interested the whole time.
That's good.
This book sounds real bad when you start talking about it, but I really liked it. I enjoyed it too. Like this sounds kind of dumb, but the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, maybe it was like 4.5 instead of 4. It was fun. I was interested in this from the first time it came out. Yeah, I got it from Aardvark whenever they had it. And I was super interested in it. So whenever Amy mentioned it, I was like, I
voted for it immediately.
This is what I'm talking about when I say I fun to join lives of books you haven't read. Yeah. Hello. 3 stars. Between 4 and 4.5 for me.
Yeah, I did 3.5. I think it's the higher side of 3. Like, I think it's closer to 4. The vibes were so good. Like, I enjoyed reading it, but there were so many times, like, I don't know. Sometimes I had trouble imagining what was happening, and so when they start going through the caves and the fold things, like the time changing, and I was like, it's really hard to like imagine it. So that was tough for me sometimes, but I think overall probably closer to 4, but 3.5 is where I stand pretty firm.
I don't imagine things when I read any book, so it didn't bother me.
Yeah, it's very blurry. Yeah.
My mind plays like a movie, but the problem is that it's like a movie with faceless characters because I don't picture people in any of them. Like, it's just like shadow people, like faceless people, but it plays like a movie. So like if I can't imagine it, it's kind of hard to like.
I don't imagine anything.
I can't process how that's a thing. Like if I'm sitting here, I'm like I'm looking at this page. That's what's in my brain.
Yeah,
I'm the same as you, Monica.
No, I would love to be in your brain for one day. Just like
I'm so
to show you my brain. It's a little weird sometimes. But
I believe that. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. So whenever people say that they have issues, like because they couldn't picture things, I'm like,
yeah, I'm like,
that's my life.
That's exactly how it is with me reading all the time.
Yeah, I've had this conversation before with Sav and Riley. Like, I don't know how it came up, but like Riley sees everything.
Yeah, she's Sav.
Yeah, Sav was like in the middle, and I'm like, I see words.
I see. It's very blurry.
I don't see anything.
Mine's pretty blurry. I get some things, and then other things I got nothing. So
yeah, no, I'm just I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm really good at multitasking whenever I like listen to audiobooks and stuff because there's nothing else. Like I'm not doing anything except for like I'm aware of person. Okay.
That's why I have trouble with just audiobooks. If I'm not driving, where like I don't necessarily driving is different. For some reason I can do audiobooks, but like everything else, like it's hard because my mind will drift too much, and then if I don't know I don't know what's happening anymore. And like even if I'm reading a book and listening to the audio, like I literally will pause it so that I can like answer texts or like do something on my phone or whatever because I can't keep the movie has to pause or else I get lost.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting thing. You got to read Briardark, a bit less science, more horror. It's the first in a trilogy.
Okay. Ooh.
Sounds interesting.
So much like this. Very interesting. Sam, I have the faceless people movies. Yeah, I the only time I like picture anything is whenever I like, it's like something that I'm so familiar with, but it's more of a recall. It's not, I'm not like actively picturing things. Nothing's really moving. Like, I don't know. Don't even know if I picture things or not. I feel like you would probably know.
See, I just looked up Briardark, and it's like the first couple words of the description are survival and cosmic horror. And I think that's the problem I have with cosmic anything, like cosmic horror, cosmic things, because I can't imagine what's happening. It doesn't make sense in my brain, so I can't picture it. And then it's just like a blank movie screen, and I'm lost. But then literally the next line says, like, perfect for fans of Lost. And I'm like, I have watched Lost so many times in my life.
Well, maybe because Lost, you're watching.
It is.
So like, I want to read this as a fan of Lost, but I can't. I don't know if I can do it. I'll try it probably.
I have not seen Lost, so I don't know.
Oh my god, you should at least watch the first episode. It's like it's beautiful.
The first season is like
literally. There's a polar bear. Just do it.
Polar bear.
Hello?
Come here.
Oh gosh.
Just see his little face like, hello?
He was hanging from my chair.
Yeah, just caught his eyes. Like,
yeah, we saw that.
I'm gonna have to watch that back because it is also Lost, but not as good as Lost.
nothing. To talk about. You're right.
Hugo is named after Lost.
Also, okay, so Carly, you'll get this, and Michelle, you'll get this. When we were on Sprints the other night, and Lexi was talking about wanting to make a Hot Pocket, the only thing that goes through my head whenever I think about Hot Pockets is the scene with Hurley when he throws the Hot Pocket at the wall. That's the only thing I think of when I hear the word Hot Pocket.
The series finale aired on like my 20th birthday. That's like what I remember for my 20th birthday.
So love the polar bear is a selling point.
You should watch it because of the first episode, and then like the second or third episode is the polar bear. Okay, it's important.
Don't understand what you're talking about, but okay. Okay. I don't know if I have anything else to talk about. I mean, there are more things that happen, but like, I don't know if they need a discussion. What are you doing? Hi. Goodbye. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Bye. There's a frog too. Okay.
Wait, in Lost? Is that what we're talking about?
I think she was a frog
in Lost.
I don't remember a frog in Lost.
I have no idea. I don't know either way.
I mean, probably.
Okay. Well, I think that is all from me. Thank you again to Amy for joining us and picking this book. I think it was a very fun one to discuss.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Enjoying the game. What?
Oh, the sound of the frog. Okay, I remember that.
You see the frog though?
Oh gosh. Okay. Amy is linked in the description, so make sure you check out her channel and her book club if you are interested in book clubs.
Briardark is by a woman.
That's
good. One to read suddenly.
I was looking at my stats earlier. Off topic. I was looking at my stats earlier, and I've read 60% of the books I've read this year are from men, and I hate that for me. I'm like,
no, Amy! Oh my god, no!
Like, no,
Amy.
So sad. Thanks for joining. Yes, this was a fun one. You see it eventually. Interesting. Okay, we will see you for the book club again in November, we'll have sprints, but the discussion will be on Monica's channel. So that's it. I'm gonna end this. Goodbye.